6. Signs of the Zodiac, whose curses usually come true. They are dangerous. Have you ever wondered why the words of some people pass by, while what others say seems to trigger a chain of events from which you can't escape? Why does a curse pronounced in anger become a reality for some zodiac signs, like a magical command from the universe? There are 6 signs, whose energy is endowed with special power. Their words are not just emotions. These are blows to energy, to fate, to the future. They are not sorcerers, not witches. They are born with the power of influence. And if they curse, most often it comes true. Consciously or not, they are dangerous. In this video, you will find out which signs have such power, who carries the destructive power of words inside, and most importantly, why they should be especially careful about what they say in anger. Subscribe to the channel if you feel that the power of words is not fiction, but part of your reality. And write in the comments, have you met such people whose curses really came true? Check. Are you among them? The first sign is Sagittarius. If Sagittarius utters a curse out loud, it is not an emotion, but a conclusion. The representative of this sign is not used to wasting words on empty things. He endures, analyzes, observes for a long time. And if one day he says, "You will pay for this," it means that the moment has been chosen precisely. His words do not hang in the air. They act like a code. They activate a chain of events that sooner or later leads to a consequence. Sagittarius does not direct evil in rage. He simply releases a precise formulation. And most often it hits the target. There is a hidden power of influence in his energy. This is not magic in its external manifestation, but a deep concentration of will and inner rightness. Sagittarius is able to put all the accumulated resentment, pain, and anger into one phrase. But he never shouts in vain. His curses are not a flash, but a wave that accumulates for a long time and then sweeps away. And they work especially strongly if a person really touched his principles or betrayed him. The danger of Sagittarius is that he does not try to take physical revenge. He simply lets go of his thought, and it begins to work on its own. The boomerang that this sign launches always returns, and precisely where it hurts the most. His curses are especially strong at the moment of a breakup or betrayal, and everything he wished in his heart, at some point, comes true. He can forget, but the universe, not. Sagittarius has the power of verbal influence. His words can be a blessing or a sentence. And if he crossed the line, beyond which he releases a curse, it is better not to hope that it will pass. Because even if outwardly everything is calm, inside he has absolute determination, and it always strengthens the power of intention. His energy works through directness, and everything that he said in moments of anger has the power of materialization. He does not perform rituals, does not read conspiracies. A phrase said at the right moment is enough for him, and this phrase begins to work. This is where his danger lies. He curses rarely but accurately, and his words turn into fate for the one who became the object of his anger. The second sign is Gemini. A curse pronounced by Gemini does not sound ominous, it seems like a random phrase. But this is where its power lies. Representatives of this sign know how to put such meanings into words that slowly penetrate the consciousness and begin to change the course of events. Their language is a weapon honed by intellect and logic. They do not speak emotionally. they break through precisely, with mockery, sarcasm, apt wording. And these words stick to a person, begin to live in his head, destroying confidence, stability, plans. The danger of Gemini is in their ability to turn thoughts into poison. They can sow doubt with one sentence, which will then destroy someone's life. A curse from Gemini is a virus. It penetrates unnoticed, and only after a while does a person begin to face the consequences: breakdowns, destruction, loss. Everything happens as if by chance, but the thread leads to the very moment when the Gemini said their final word. Their curses work not because they are mystical, but because they are precise. They know people's weaknesses, they can see cracks in the psyche, and they can strike where it hurts the most. And when they curse, they do it not magically but strategically. The energy of their words is directed like an arrow and hits where the crack will develop. They rarely speak directly. They can simply wish to live with it, and that is enough. The Gemini curse works especially powerfully if a person tried to deceive them, manipulate, or use them. In this case, their phrase becomes not just an emotional reaction, but a prediction. It is as if they are creating a scenario in advance in which the enemy will face what he himself did. And everything begins to unfold according to this pattern, with frightening precision. Geminis are masters of words, and a word spoken in anger from betrayal is no longer just a sound. It is energy. And it is this that begins to work, even if no one perceives it as a curse. This is their strength, invisibility, and efficiency. The third sign is Libra. Libras do not curse often, but if they do, the consequences are tangible. Outwardly soft, reserved, calm, they hold their emotions inside for a long time, cannot stand conflicts, and avoid open confrontations. But if they are driven into a corner, betrayed, or humiliated, their words can begin to ruin their lives. Their curse does not look like aggression. It can even be a polite formulation. But the energy with which it is pronounced has destructive power. Libras accumulate pain. And if someone has violated the internal balance, violated the sense of justice, deceived or taken advantage of their trust, they react extremely painfully. Their phrases at such moments become a point of no return. They do not raise their voices, do not make scenes. But what is said in the cold and disappointment of Libra acts like a sentence. And as soon as these words are released, events begin to unfold as if someone from above decided to balance everything back. The strength of Libra is in their sense of truth. If they decide that a person deserves retribution, their curse becomes not an emotion, but justice. They do not curse without reason, but if they said, "What you did will catch up with you," it will start to happen. Not right away. First, the loss of ground, the tension, breakdowns in relationships, then loneliness or the collapse of affairs. Everything unfolds slowly but consistently. They do not try to influence on purpose, but their resentment, their pain, their disappointment are concentrated in a phrase, and the universe seems to respond. Their words spoken after betrayal are especially powerful. Libra is silent for a long time, believes for a long time, waits for a long time. But when they cross the line, there is no return. And at that moment, their curse becomes a program of destruction for the one who caused pain. This is the danger of Libra. They are not visible. They are not heard. But if they still said that there will be no forgiveness, it means that a mechanism has been launched that cannot be stopped. And it will work. The fourth sign is Virgo. When Virgo utters harsh words in anger, They do not remain an empty sound. The representative of this sign does not believe in mysticism, but the power of his thought and logic is arranged in such a way that each curse takes the form of action. He does not throw words in vain. Virgos rarely wish harm to someone, but if they cross the line, then there is a reason for this. Their curses are not emotional outbursts. These are precise formulations that become overgrown with reality. They know how to hit with a word so that it gets stuck in the head for a long time. And if Virgo said in a rage, "So that you lose everything the same way you lost me," after a while, this is exactly what will happen. The Virgo's brain works like a mechanism, adjusting the energy impulse at the moment of the release of emotion. She does not shout incoherent phrases. She knows exactly where it hurts and where to direct the blow, and therefore her words, even spoken in a whisper, begin to work, and with mathematical precision. The one who became the object of her indignation may not even understand at first why everything is falling apart. But if you follow the chain of events, it turns out that everything began from the moment when Virgo was humiliated, offended, or betrayed. These people are capable of directing destruction not only into the personal life of the offender. They can break a business, shift the situation, up to the collapse of a career. Their words are especially powerful when they are said not in hysteria, but in a cold state of analysis. And if at this moment Virgo decided that someone should experience suffering, he will experience it. Even if months pass, the energy of her phrase will work, destroying everything that the victim touches. Virgos rarely curse, but their curse is the final sentence. The uniqueness of Virgo is that she herself may not call it a curse. She simply states how it will be, and this will be comes true. It is especially scary when Virgo uses facts and precise wording. Then her words become anchors that attract misfortune with an inexorable force. People who have once encountered such a wave from Virgo often cannot recover. They lose money, connections, status. And what is most strange, they rarely associate it with her, because Virgo does everything purely, imperceptibly. She does not take revenge, she predicts. But her prediction is absent about the future. These are commands that the universe perceives as an action plan, and it carries out to the last letter. The fifth sign is Cancer. A curse pronounced by Cancer does not sound loud. It is soft but insidious. There is no threat in it, only resentment, disappointment, pain. But it is this pain that becomes the core of destruction. Cancers are emotional accumulators. They accumulate experiences inside themselves for a long time, and if too much accumulates, the charge becomes toxic. When Cancer says, "I wish you to experience what I feel now," this is not a wish. This is a program that turns on instantly. At first, it is reflected in small things. Relationships deteriorate, plans begin to fail, internal anxieties appear. But over time, all this develops into a streak of real troubles. Cancer's energy is especially strong when he feels injustice. And if he is betrayed, humiliated, or rejected, he is no longer silent. His curse can be veiled. He simply wants justice or for everything to return to normal. But the universe hears and fulfills. And not only the pain returns, the entire scenario lived by Cancer returns, but already in the body of the one who caused the suffering. Moreover, Cancer does nothing directly. He does not take revenge, does not threaten. But the power of his emotions forms an event, and not just an emotion. People who have encountered his curse begin to lose ground. and the more Cancer was connected with this person, the more powerful the blow. Cancer's special feature is his ability to empathize. He penetrates the feelings of others so deeply that, even wishing them pain, he starts the process of immersion to the same level of suffering that he experienced himself. But the trouble is that not everyone can cope with such a volume of pain. People break down, go crazy, lose faith in themselves. And Cancer has already left. He does not monitor the consequences. He just let go of the pain, and it found a new carrier. His words most often sound like a prayer, like regret. But it is in this form that the most dangerous force. Do not be deceived by his soft voice or tears. When he says, "Let life teach you," this is not a metaphor. This is a real sentence, and it begins from the first second. Cancers have a unique energy through which they transmit not just grievances, but entire destinies. And if they wanted someone to fall, the fall will be such that it is almost impossible to get up after it. The sixth sign is Aries. The curse of Aries is a burst of rage, fire, and destruction. He does not think through his phrases, does not choose his words. Everything happens suddenly and abruptly. His energy is like a lightning strike, instant, burning, leaving traces for a long time. When Aries says something in anger, the world seems to split into two parts, before this phrase and after. He can scream, he can curse openly, and his words immediately penetrate to the heart of the situation. The peculiarity of Aries is that his emotional charge instantly starts a chain reaction in reality. And if he said, "so that you lose everything," the losses will not keep you waiting. Aries may not even remember what he said, but what he said works like a code. His curse does not require a ritual. One flash of anger directed at a point is enough. He leaves no room for chance. His emotional field explodes, and everything that gets into the affected area begins to crumble. Relationships, property, health, authority. Everything he touched with a curse begins to collapse. At the same time, Aries rarely returns to finish off. He leaves, but the field remains infected, and the process continues. The stronger he felt the connection with the person, the more destructive the consequences. He does not take revenge in the usual sense. He simply brings down the truth like a hammer. His curses are not spells, but powerful emissions of inner truth that have not passed through a filter. And this truth becomes a fact, a break, a collapse, loneliness, shame. The danger of Aries is in his spontaneity. He can strike with a word at the most unexpected moment. But this blow will hit accurately. And if he was humiliated, betrayed, deceived, his voice will be what starts the reverse process. Everything that the offender built will begin to crack, collapse, crumble. At the same time, Aries himself does not always realize the power of his words. He simply expresses what he feels. But that is enough. He does not use energies, rituals, gestes, or intentions. He does not need to. His voice is a trigger, and once it is activated, there is no stopping the consequences.